During the colonization of what is now North America, Dutch ruled over their colonies in New Netherlands. Their crown jewel was New Amsterdam, modern-day New York City. Even though it may have been their most important colony in North America, it wasn't exactly their cleanest. Trash, refuse, and even carcasses were thrown into the street oftentimes. But with all this junk on the streets came the very first sanitation workers, the pigs. They ate that slop like it was no tomorrow, and when the British eventually took over in 1664, in the process renaming the city to New York, the pig problems only got worse. You see, the pigs thrived in Manhattan because a lot of that land was still made up of farms. It wasn't terribly urban, but as more people flocked into the city and farmland began to be converted into residential tenements, the pigs didn't magically disappear. Flash forward well after the American Revolution to 1825, and now the Erie Canal has been constructed. This allowed way more people to get into the city via easier access from an even wider area. New York becomes filled with newcomers, and with more people comes more trash. It was called Hogtown and Stinktown because all of these pigs are left to roam free, eating all manner of nasty stuff. You think seeing a rat on the subway is bad? Buddy, you got no clue how bad it must have been to see a parade of stank-ass hogs run down 42nd Street. With all this in mind, let's ask ourselves, why pigs? I mean, by this point, it's been so long that New York has mostly become urbanized. Why are people still raising them? Well, it made a lot of sense at the time. Pigs offer a diverse range of uses. When slaughtered, you can get lard, meat for now, and bacon for the winter once salted. You can even use their intestines as sausage casings. Or, well, at the time, condoms. Yeah, it was different back then. I try not to think about it either. But anyways, pigs were super useful. Pigs served as an investment. Need to make a quick buck? Sell a pig. Need food for an extended period of time?
We're just gonna kill them!
Another big thing is that pigs were smart. They would be let into the streets to scour for foods such as New York classics like glizzies and 99-cent pizza, which I'm fairly certain is disappearing as prices rise, but whatever. You'd think with all these pigs running around it would be like the 2010s. Lol, bacon is so epic. Remember Coney 2012? That is going to be on the internet forever now. But in reality, things were shaping up to be pretty bad. These piggeries, as they were called, began to come under scrutiny in the 1820s, as their little piggies were causing a big mess. The hordes of pigs running around the city could block traffic by scaring horses and crashing carriages. Pig owners were being persecuted because their swine property were pooing on pedestrians, fornicating in public, and harassing children. Well, that was bad enough. Nothing makes the world go round like cold, hard cash, and all of that money was flowing out of Manhattan into Brooklyn via a mass exodus by the upper class trying to flee the pig-ridden Midtown. With money being invested more in Brooklyn, more so than Manhattan, the higher-ups in New York's government decided enough was enough. In a bizarro reverse world, instead of Brooklyn being gentrified, Manhattan would be. Like I said, it was a different time. This kind of gentrification did not come in the form of dyed mullets and coffee shops. Rather, it was the construction of public parks like Washington Square Park in 1825. More parks followed, like Union Square, Gramercy Park, and even the ever-famous Madison Square. It would become the Garden later, but for now, it, like the other parks, had railings and fences to keep out the pigs. A centralized police force was created in 1845, and Central Park's construction began 2 years later in 1847, meaning that not only were property values rising, making it harder for pig farmers to remain, but there was also a dedicated police force that could drive them and their pigs out of the city, or at least somewhere else. Downtowners wanted to travel uptown to visit Central Park, which meant passing through Stinktown. They complained heavily, and the city council erupted into a civil war. The pig farmers called out the rich, who seemed to be fine living with the pigs before, but now with their wealth had become pampered. On the other hand, the rich said that the pigsties were becoming a nuisance for downtown business. And with the power of the rich and a dash of anti-Irish racism, the stage was set for the New York Piggery War. The police were determined to drive out the pigs after a new inspector had been appointed in 1859. The war began with police officers raiding the piggeries while the residents attempted to hide their curly-tailed contraband. Now, if you grew up on a farm or visited a farm with pigs, you'll know that it isn't really hard to sniff out where the pigs are, so the officers found them pretty easily most of the time. Finding the pigs was one thing, getting them out of there was another. The New York Post writes that a, quote, large, squarely built German woman, unquote, once smacked an officer on the head with a pot when he attempted to pull her pigs by the ears so hard that it, quote, made him see stars, unquote. I stand with you, German pig lady. So not only did the police have to fight the piggery owners, but also the pigs themselves. Like I said, pigs are smart, and they don't want some random guy to drag them off to God knows where. They would run past the officers, run through their legs, or just straight up run into them, knocking them over. The police often couldn't hold on to the pigs since they would slip out of their hands easily. The pigs were cunning, but unfortunately for them, the police were too. By the end of the summer, the pigs' mighty forces had been defeated. Gentrification had won. With rising prices around the area, especially uptown by Central Park, piggeries became a thing of the past. I suppose this speaks to the larger issue of gentrification, not only in New York City, but across many modern cities, not even restricted to the US. Soaring prices help only a select few, while many others, due to a variety of circumstances, can't afford housing in a neighborhood they once could. It was soaring prices that led to the near extinction of one of my favorite New York staples, 99-cent pizza. But like good 99-cent pizza. Yeah, that used to exist. Anyways, I'm not a philosopher, I'm a historian, and this story of the 1859 Piggery War will remain a gem in the history of one of the greatest cities on earth. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time on Blue Chair. If you like this video, subscribe for more strange history stories, and make sure to like the video and leave some suggestions or feedback in the comments. If you want to keep up to date on our uploads here at Blue Chair, hit the notification button. We'll try to get these videos out as often as possible, so stay tuned. Thanks again, and I'll catch you around. Bye! Well, I don't know if you should include the bye, that was a joke, that was meant to you. But, yeah, that should be the whole recording.